Hi, my name is Jenny C. I am the writer and owner of the independent fandom blog, fantasy.com. Today, I am going to talk about Teen Wolf Episode 3, Season 5, called Dreamcatcher. So this episode was a lot worse than the previous episodes. It wasn't mediocre like episode 2 was, but it really was a hell of a lot worse in quality. I wasn't really impressed. They didn't really move a lot of plot lines from the previous 2 episodes. I only have a few likes, so I'm gonna get those out the way. Things that I really loved this episode. First off is Kira and Lydia. I mean, I've always been a real big fan of Kira and Lydia. Because they're two awesome women. I especially loved Kira this episode because she was badass this episode, sorry. I mean, she, at first she was, her usual awkward and funny and quirky self. And then towards the end, she was badass and kicking names and, literally on fire and kicking cat on my ass, and I really loved it. I really was cheering for her that whole little bit of the scene. Lydia was also awesome. She was playing, detective. She really was sympathetic towards Tracy and what she was going through because she went through something similar in season 2. It's one of those callbacks to earlier seasons because I think Jeff Davis and his writers know that we really missed sort of the season 1, season 2 sort of status quo. So it was a callback to that, and sort of the callback was also a way sort of to fix some forgotten plot threads, and they did it in the most horrible way possible. But we'll talk about that later. Tracy was really sympathetic. I really felt for Tracy. I mean, the actress just brought her A game, and I really was like feeling her story throughout the whole episode and the previous episodes because she, like many of the other characters in the series, has sort of was dealing with the supernatural invading their lives and not realizing what is reality and what is dreams, and she's sort of being a pawn of the doctors, and it's just like really she was very sympathetic from these all 3 episodes, especially this episode where she eventually died, and we'll be talking about that later on in the video though. I also love the sheriff. The sheriff was without a doubt the funniest part of the first half of the episode. I really loved him in his sort of really weird sort of retroist kind of suit. I thought he had like the sort of the dad suit, the plaid and the sort of corduroy thing going on, brown jacket going on. So I really loved him and his interaction with Styles and with Scott in the first part of the episode. Because him going on a date is a big deal. This is the first big date that he's had since his wife died, cannily on screen. So I was really excited for that, to see where that went. I was really hoping that it would be a confirmation of Melissa and Sheriff Stilinski getting together. Unfortunately, that wasn't it. And to go further into that, I'm going to go ahead and go into my dislikes because I really was hoping that Melissa and Sheriff Stilinski got together. I was really hoping, because I think me and the 98% of the fandom was really hoping that might actually be a thing, and Jeff Davis did the service of just pissing on that and also onto Stydia shippers, because he's going out with Natalie Martin, who is played by Lyndon Ashby, the guy who plays Sheriff Stilinski's real life wife. And I understand that they were sort of a bit codependent I mean, they almost in every sort of show or series that they play in, they're either near each other in location or they're in the same show. And I get that, and I'm like, yay, because I liked her on Vampire Diaries, but really, no. I was like, no, you need to just stop that and go get with Melissa. And I was like, I mean, seriously, I was just like, what the hell is this? And then it was also sort of a, let's go piss on Stydia shippers. And I've warned Stydia shippers, honey, just because they're giving you sort of really shippy gifts on Tumblr, or they're tweeting about the possibility of Stydia, or they are, having a little Stydia moments in the promo trailers, does not necessarily mean that they're going to do it, because they've used this method before with steric shippers. And as a steric shipper, I saw their MO like right off the bat. I knew exactly what they were doing right off the bat. So I was like, dudes, don't get your hopes up. And like a self-fulfilling prophecy, it pretty much shitted on Stydia shippers. And I'm like, I warned you guys. My heart goes out to you, because I've already been through it, and I know how they treat ships, fandom ships that get away with their canon ships, like dirt. And Lydia especially is going to be fandom whipping girl this year, definitely. So my heart goes out to you, Stydia shippers, because Jeff Davis is a spiteful asshole, and he likes to just shit on favorite characters and favorite ships like there's nobody's business. And but what really made me upset was the sort of Melissa shitting on Melissa Sheriff, ship that's is really beloved universally throughout the fandom, but they have such sort of hatred towards fandom that they had to go ahead and do that. And I have a feeling, since the actress that plays Natalie Martin and then Ashby are actually married in real life, that they're going to go ahead and make that an actual ship that's happening, which is kind of, doing killing two ships with one stone, the Melissa Sheriff shippers and the Stydia shippers. And I heard some Stydia shippers like, dude, I'll ship incest, I don't give a fuck. Which wouldn't be incest because they're just stepbrother and sister, but still, yikes. It's just ew. Also, what's with the boys? For the most part, the boy portion of the cast disappearing. Oh my God! Styles disappeared. Scott disappeared. Theo disappeared. Liam disappeared. Mason disappeared. Like, they did have scenes throughout the episode, but towards the end they were gone, and I'm like, what exactly did you do? Especially Scott, because he wants to be the big bad alpha, and he had a few badass scenes, but for the most part, with him like throwing down the Donovan, but for the most part, he was taken out, and it was left to the girls to kick ass towards the end of the day. And I'm all for girl power, but I'm like, dude, don't you want to be the special alpha? I don't see you doing anything. I mean, seriously, he did the Diddley Squad. I mean, seriously, if you're going to be alpha, act like one. Also, Styles was acting kind of crazy this episode. He was like kind of paranoid, which sort of, he was acting like that previous episodes, but really he was kind of acting kind of cray-cray this episode. So I was like, what's going on with that? I wonder if they're going to bring that up later on in the season. We shall see. I think another issue for me is how little Theo and Mason played in this episode, particularly Mason. Mason is the only gay character, openly gay character on the show, and he's also a brother. So I was like, dude, let's see what you got now that you're fully in the supernatural fold. And they did squat with this character. He had maybe a couple scenes, and most of those scenes were him just like oogling over the new alpha in town. I was like, really? And he would say these words like interesting or oh, and I'm like, that's all you can give him? I mean, he doesn't have any real dialogue this episode. I'm like, come on now. Another thing that I really had issue with was Theo. Theo is what makes Theo creepy to me is that he's creeping in the background. He's stalking. He's doing his single white female thing, and I ain't just like, you creep me the fuck out. Especially after he did the hammer and breaking his dad's arm, his dad's hand, and I'm just like, that is so creepy. Just like Sticky Keys is like, oh, he lay off my Theo, and I'm like, honey, you can have him. Because that boy is crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a major threat to the Scott pack, to the McCall pack this season. So we shall see about that. Overall, this episode was really disjointed, really choppy. It didn't feel like it has a single thread of continuity in it. Not really. I also didn't like the fact that they were calling back to season 2, and they did it in the worst way possible. With again, sort of that allusion to Lydia being crazy in season 2, with sort of like the parallel with Tracy's storyline, and the Kanama, which was basically, to me, was Jeff Davis's doing just shitting on Jackson fans, because I've been a Jackson fan since season 1, and yes, he's a douchey asshole, but I felt that he had really a lot of potential to do more, and unfortunately, he went off to do the stuff on Arrow, and Colton Hayes did stuff on Arrow instead. So I was really like sad to see him go. But now they're bringing the Kanama back, which is a callback to season 2, and I'm like, no. They didn't mention Jackson at all. And Jackson, I'm like, you can't do a Kanama storyline without Jackson being there, or at least Jackson at the very least being mentioned. They didn't mention Jackson. It felt like they were shitting on Jackson to me. I don't know if that felt like that to anybody else, but it really felt like they were shitting on Jackson to me. It's just like, you want to sort of call back there. I was yelling, and I have been yelling a while, that Jeff Davis hasn't been acknowledging season 1 or season 2 of Teen Wolf, like he's pretending like it didn't exist. And now that he's sort of acknowledging that, but he's doing that in the worst way possible. He's acknowledging those seasons, but it's not right the way that he's doing it. So I just really, I'm kind of sad to see that they're still messing up. Oh, before I go, let's talk about Brayden. Brayden, there was a mention of Brayden in this episode. I'm praying to God she doesn't come back. I don't want her to come back. She might have a better character arc this season. Who knows? But I'd rather see Chris Argent or Peter Hale back before I see Brayden back, honestly, because at least they added something to the plot. She adds 0 to the plot. Oh God, what else I want to talk about before I go? I just, this episode was really a disappointment. I shouldn't have been disappointed, but it was just really disjointed, really choppy. It's got to be the worst episode in the season so far. I'm hoping it doesn't go downhill from there, but I've seen the ratings, and they're at like at 1.1, 1.5, so they're kind of below what they used to be, because they were doing like 2 million, so they're now at 1.1, 1.5, 1.3. So I'm praying to God that this is the last season. I really want this to be the last season. I'm really tired of their mess. I just want to let the show go. I'll probably always be in the fandom because I'm a Steric girl. And even though they shit on Steric and on Derek in any way possible, I was still in the fandom. And so I'm hoping that I could stay for a little longer. We shall see. And so those are my thoughts. I'm really hoping that the next episode's better. But, you know, y'all pray for me, y'all, because I'm watching this, so you don't have to. So, this is the end of my first vlog. I hope to do this again. I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.